In this video, we will discuss Courage is Calling, Fortune Favors the Brave, by Ryan Holiday. Before we get to the takeaways and summary, here is a brief overview of the book. Everyone feels the call to display courage at key points in their lives. Wise people listen to that calling and take action, writes best-selling author and podcast host Ryan Holiday. Courage is an essential component of living a virtuous life, he explains, yet it's rarer than it should be because far too many people choose to live in fear. Drawing from sources such as Stoic philosophy and comparative mythology, Holiday exhorts readers toward courageous self-actualization with calm, clear advice. Fear-based decisions may help you feel safe, but raise the biggest risk of all, he says, wasting your short time on Earth, playing small. Now let's see some of the main takeaways from this book. 4 virtues, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom, comprise the good life. Courageous action is a rarity because many people live in fear. Believe in your own agency to live an authentic self-actualized life. One courageous person can inspire a social movement. Don't hesitate to do the right thing. Accept criticism and overcome your fear of people labeling you as difficult. Nobody can force you to betray your morals or surrender your power. Heroes selflessly risk their lives to benefit the collective good. People or events may break a hero, but she or he will heal and grow, not surrender. Finally, let's discuss the summary of the book in greater depth. 4 virtues, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom, comprise the good life. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius regarded the 4 virtues of courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom as touchstones of goodness. These cardinal virtues appear in texts from the ancient world from Christianity to Hinduism. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, for example, stressed that, as a harpist learns by playing the instrument, you become virtuous by practicing virtuous actions. You have multiple opportunities to choose virtue every day. The Greek root of the word virtue is oret, which translates roughly as excellence. Choosing virtue means choosing mental, physical, and moral excellence. Courage can be physical, for example, saving someone from a burning building, or moral, for example, acting as a whistleblower. Both kinds are valuable and involve risk, sacrifice, and determination that many people fail to display. Instead of doing the right thing, people often opt to do what feels safe. Courage is a rarity because many people live in fear. Brave people muster the ability to overcome fear. Comparative mythologist Joseph Campbell codifies the hero's journey, a near-universal story arc in which mythical heroic characters progress through different stages before embracing their true destiny. When these potential heroes first receive the call to adventure, most don't respond heroically. Their fear leads them to the next stage, which Campbell calls the refusal of the call. They choose something they perceive as safe to avoid the risks that embracing their life's purpose raise. Like mythic heroes, anyone who ends up in the annals of history discovers that triumphing over fear is the defining battle of their existence. This crucial moment, when you accept the call to change the world, to defy others' expectations, or to rise above your current position of power to be of greater service to others, requires courage. Logic helps you transcend fear. Investigate your anxious, fearful thoughts and consider the facts of the situation from a more objective perspective. Tell yourself that the worst-case scenario version of events is unlikely to occur. Even if the worst does happen, remind yourself that you have the capacity to manage the situation. Practice empathy to discover how other people cope with their fears. Stop viewing your obstacles as negative forces blocking your path to success. Embrace them as valuable opportunities to challenge yourself. Don't judge others for showing cowardice. Nobody can understand another person's journey or the inner struggles he or she might face. Choose to believe in your own agency and live an authentic self-actualized life. Nothing and nobody will give you agency. You must seize your agency and believe you have the power to change your circumstances. Your perception of your agency determines the power you have to change your life. You may be a billionaire, but if you feel you are a victim of circumstances rather than their creator, you will regard yourself as powerless, and indeed, you will be. Embracing your belief in yourself requires overcoming cynicism and nihilism, and understanding that there are things in life worth risking everything, and perhaps even dying for. Seek inspiration in heroes of the past who survived against all odds and stood up for what they believed. Embrace this tradition rather than the fear-based traditions of followers. Any meaningful growth requires a leap of faith and the courage to create the life you truly desire. You may feel that avoiding decisions helps you avoid consequences, but that's a fallacy. Not making a choice to take courageous action supports the status quo by surrendering your agency. There is no such thing as certainty. Life is fundamentally uncertain, given that everyone must die. Being complicit in systems you don't support and failing to harness the power of your unique gifts poses the greatest dangers you will encounter. Rise to the challenge by authentically showing up as yourself, rather than the version of you others want you to be. Fear is not the enemy. Fear can be a potent source of information that directs you toward your biggest growth opportunities as you work toward self-actualization. One courageous person can inspire a social movement. Don't hesitate to do the right thing. Sometimes, you must take courageous action alone. Yet, if you persevere, you will inevitably find a collective of people who share your commitment to a higher cause and support you. When Germany seized France in 1940, for example, one man's courageous stance helped save his nation. Charles de Gaulle, an Undersecretary of Defense and Brigadier General in the French Army, urged the French people to continue to fight in a BBC broadcast, exclaiming, "France is not alone. She is not alone." In reality, France had lost, with many French soldiers, whom the British rescued, giving up to live in Nazi-occupied France. Courage is contagious, and de Gaulle's public stance became symbolic of the united French resistance it ignited. One person can make a tremendous difference and create a majority. If you feel the call, don't wait for someone else to inspire you. Don't believe you need to know how to solve every subsequent problem. Others will find your momentum contagious and help you finish what you start. The Stoic philosopher Seneca famously described his pity for people who never face misfortune. "You have passed through life without an opponent," he said. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you. When you face challenges, ask yourself if you have the courage to do what's right, even if it's difficult. Will you stand firm, or will you run away? Accept criticism and overcome your fear of being labeled difficult. The greater good of society benefits from people who speak their truths, even when they conflict with the interests of the status quo. These people have different roles, whistleblowers, artists, or comedians, for example, but share a willingness to publicly critique the things with which they disagree. To be brave, overcome your fear of public criticism, knowing that people will, at some point, say you're crazy or treat you like you're difficult. It is not brave to please everyone all the time, even if you could, and you're unlikely to make history doing so. Overcome your fear of making mistakes, because inaction in moments that demand courageous action guarantees failure. Sometimes, you only have a few seconds to act courageously. Don't let your fear of failure or possible embarrassment impede you. When the instant to take courageous action arises, focus on the present moment rather than entertaining a barrage of anxious thoughts about problems you might face in the future. Move out of your comfort zone each day to build a habit of overcoming fear. Perhaps this entails admitting when you don't know the answer in a conversation, for example, or simply turning the water cold in the shower. Nobody can force you to betray your morals or surrender your power. Ease the path of courageous action by acknowledging that you are sovereign. Nobody has the right to abuse you or commit injustices against you. When people misuse their power, you don't solve anything by reacting with submission. Seneca said that if you feel someone can force you to commit wrongdoing, you have forgotten how to die. Even if you feel you're fighting a losing battle, relentlessly pursue your version of the good to protect yourself, others, and your self-respect. Moments may arise that demand physical courage or violence to protect the moral good. For example, if someone threatens a loved one, you may need to react protectively with physical aggression. That said, never recklessly take action and create unnecessary risks in a moment of egomania. Always temper courage with the wisdom of moderation. Sometimes, courage requires retreating from a situation you can no longer endure, while embracing the risk and uncertainty of the unknown. Being courageous means overcoming the desire to avoid challenging situations, to give up or procrastinate instead of embracing your duty. Avoidance doesn't work because when you fail to do the job you agreed to do, you only force someone else to do it, or you create future impediments for yourself. Courage often entails mustering the belief that while the odds may be against you, you can beat them. People, like doctors and soldiers, whose roles require them to courageously perform their duties in high-risk situations, bravely take action even when failure seems possible or imminent. Reflect on whether you use your difficult circumstances as a chance to seize opportunities, or as a justification to fail to take action, thus allowing yourself to descend into despair. Paralysis never contributes to a solution. Heroes selflessly risk their lives to benefit the collective good. Stoic philosophers referred to heroism as greatness of soul. Courage is rare, but the courage that makes you truly heroic is even more so. Heroes surpass the demands of duty by risking their lives for others, sometimes even dying, so others can live. humbling all who benefit from their sacrifice. Heroism occurs when people display a selfless love for others that defies reason and embodies human greatness. External validation or reward don't motivate true heroes. Their motivation lies in the desire to make a meaningful difference that benefits others, now and in the future. Heroes must often suffer grim consequences for their actions. Many visionary, principle-driven individuals find their communities ostracize them. Others suffer physical harm, as, for example, prisoners of war do when undergoing torture for their refusal to share information about their nation. After Galileo disrupted the heliocentric paradigm of the universe by boldly asserting his truth, that the Earth revolved around the Sun and not the other way around, religious authorities placed him under house arrest for the rest of his days. Reflect on what you love above all else. Perhaps it's a cause, such as Galileo's scientific truth, your nation or your comrades. Let that love power you to stand up for what you believe in, even when you risk losing everything. People or events may break a hero, but she or he will heal and grow, not surrender. Being a hero means accepting that, while life may break your spirit, your only choice is to focus on healing to grow stronger and keep being of service. Heroes don't abandon their cause or surrender. Nobody can defeat a hero if he or she doesn't give up or abandon courage. Heroes understand that, sometimes, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, silence constitutes betrayal, and they choose to keep fighting, even when afraid or when they risk losing everything. Their belief in the collective benefit of their mission trumps self-interest. They keep hope alive, rather than succumbing to despair. Heroes know they can't build a better future without believing in it. Thanks for watching. Check out our other video summaries of these books and make sure to subscribe.